Michelle, financial stylist here at Vivid Advisors. We're answering your questions. We're answering what's important to you and the things that you want to know. So from all the questions that we've had submitted, we're going through these and providing the answers back through these videos. So I've had a lot of questions come in regards to budgeting and how to actually do this effectively, because it has a really bad taste to it and most people don't like it and fear it and don't want to talk about it. So I thought that I'd address it and give you a different way of thinking about it so that it's not such a horrible, bad tasting word. So that B word, that budget word, people don't like doing it because they feel that it's limiting. They feel that they are never successful at budgeting and that it's constantly challenging them in the wrong kind of ways. So the general consensus with people is that it's too hard and they don't want to do it because you can also fear what it means. So doing a budget means that you actually have to pay attention to what you're spending. And some people don't like this because it can be quite scary or quite intimidating realizing what you actually spend your money on. But cash flow is king. You have to know where your money is going and what you're spending it on because the world revolves around cash flow. If you're not understanding what income is coming in and where your expenses are going, you're not going to be able to do and achieve the things you want in life because you're going to be ruled by money as opposed to you controlling it. So when you do a budget, it should reflect on your goals and values. It shouldn't just be some numbers that you put down and then shove it into a corner and be too scared to look at it because you know that it's not actually working and that it's not helping you at all. So the budget that you put in place needs to reflect what is important to you. There is no point in doing one if it's not. It has to provide you with a rule book of where your money is going, but it doesn't need to be so restrictive that it makes you feel ill in the stomach to look at it. So if the things that are in your budget are reflecting your goals and your values, then it's going to be a lot easier to accept and understand, and you're going to be more likely to stick to it. So doing a budget is only the first part, however, and the problem with why it often doesn't work is because if you only do a budget, you may not be actually achieving your goals. How common is this? Why isn't my budget working? Why can't I stick to my expenses? Why am I still using my credit card? Because creating a budget is only the first step. So what you actually need to do to make a budget work effectively is also track your expenses. So you could put your budget in place and say, okay, I'm only going to spend $150 a week on food, and that's what goes into your budget. Yet if you're not tracking your expenses and each week you're spending $155 or $160 or even $210 some weeks on food, the budget is null and void because you're not sticking to it and you're not tracking your expenses to know what you are actually spending. So if you are tracking those expenses, it then allows you to go, oh, I either need to increase what we're allocating in our budget for food, or gee, we shouldn't be spending that much on food because we can only be paying that $150 that's been allocated. But if you're not actually tracking what you are spending, how do you know if your budget is actually working? So that's why just writing the budget down and just saying, well, we should only spend money on these things doesn't have the impact or the effect that you need if you're not tracking your expenses to see what you're actually spending. So what you can actually do is track your expenses for a period of time, and that will help work out then making sure it does align with your budget. And again, if you have a real tendency to spend money on certain things that isn't even in your budget, you have to find a way to fit it into your budget. You have to find a way to make your priorities, set your goals, and say, okay, this is really important to me. We do really want to spend money on this. Then you have to prioritize and say, if we're going to be spending money on a certain thing, where else can we make changes so that it does fit into the budget? This is where I was talking about in regards to it meeting your goals and values. There's no point in restricting yourself so much in a budget that you're not going to stick to it, because it defeats the purpose. So the easiest way to track your expenditure is using simple software. There's apps on your phone, there's different programs that you can use to just track what you're spending. So what we love, and the program that we use, allows all of our expenses to just feed into this program, and then you can align that up to your budget, and you can easily see, this is how much I've budgeted for this particular expense, and this is how much I've actually spent on this expense. So it makes sure that you're aligning what your budget says with what you're actually spending. And again, if you make it too hard and this process too hard to track your expenditure, you're not going to do it, because nobody has the time and effort to sit down and go through all of this on a regular basis to get the right outcomes from it. So you need to keep it simple, otherwise you won't do it. So if you've got a simple app or a simple program that can just track what you're spending, you input your budget into it, and then you track what you're spending against that, and it's easily going to tell you if you're staying on track or what changes need to be made to your budget. So we constantly help clients with this, with our Freedom to Achieve program that we run, where we set goals, we create the budget, we track the expenses, and we keep you accountable. So we say, okay, you said you were going to do this, how are you going with that? Because how often do you write a new budget and then 6 or 12 months down the track you go, that hasn't quite been working, maybe we need to start again. And you've just lost 6 or 12 months of not actually achieving what you're wanting to achieve. So if you have an accountability partner, whether it's your partner or a family friend or someone in your family, someone that you can say, I'm going to do this and I need some accountability to make sure that I do it. So you just need to keep it simple, but you also need some accountability to make sure that you're doing it as well. So here we are this week. Christmas is nearly here, only a few more days until Santa comes. Our kids are extremely excited. However, just after Christmas, obviously, is New Year's. It's a fantastic time to refresh your financial goals. Set some goals in place of what you want to achieve and start a new budget. Make sure that what you're actually budgeting is what you're spending and does meet your goals and values, and set it so that it's achievable. Set it so that your budget works with you, not against you. You want it to empower you, and you want money to be the enabler of things. You want it to be able to enable you to achieve things. You don't want it to be restricting you and feeling like it's controlling you. So use this New Year's to set your financial goals, get your budget on track, start tracking your expenses to make sure that your budget is working for you. If you'd like a copy of a budget Excel spreadsheet that we have created, if you send us a message or comment in the post, I can send you the link to that spreadsheet. It's very simple. We've tailored it over the years to make sure that our clients love it and use it and are happy to use it. And that's the first part. At least get that budget sorted. And then if you need any help making sure that you're tracking your expenses and doing that the right way, we'd be more than happy to help. But get that budget sorted. Don't be scared of the B word, because it's a horrible connotation to have. You have to think of your budget as your friend and something that's going to let you achieve what it is that you want to achieve. So I hope this has helped, and if you have any questions, give us a yell, and I hope that in 2017 can be the year that you get your budget and tracking your expenses sorted. See you soon.